Greetings and welcome to this week's edition of 401k Real Talk. This is Fred Barstein, contributing editor at wealthmanagement.com's RPA Omnichannel and CEO at Trout, TPSU, and 401k TV. I review all of last week's stories and select the most important and interesting ones, providing open, honest, and candid discussion you will not get anywhere else. So let's get real. First story, almost immediately after the OMB published the DOL's fiduciary rule, with some parts effective September 23rd, a lawsuit was filed by the Federation of Americans for Consumer Choice, representing annuity and insurance firms, in a Texas U.S. District Court, the same district where the previous rule was vacated, asking the court for a preliminary injunction. Reports are that FSI, which represents brokerage firms, will join in or file their own lawsuit. Meanwhile, acting DOL Secretary Sue took heat from Republicans over the rule in a congressional hearing, asking for her immediate resignation. Questions remain whether firms can wait to begin changing policies and procedures, and what will happen if Republicans win the White House and choose not to defend the rule like last time, which will be easier than revoking it. Next story, the job market cooled in April, reporting a healthy 175,000 new jobs, down from 242,000 in March, with unemployment up a tick, but still below 4%, led by the education and healthcare sectors, which added 95,000 positions. Business services was down 4,000. Some expert called it the Goldilocks report, not too hot and not too cool, with some hoping it will cause the Fed to eventually lower interest rates, which they recently held steady due to concerns about inflation. Though we can no longer call this a war for talent, there is still pressure on employers to hire and retain the right workers, with retirement plans a key strategic weapon. Next story, JP Morgan reported a data breach to the Maine Attorney General, which affected sensitive information about 451,000 plan participants, including their Social Security and bank routing numbers. Like previously reported data breaches, the culprits were third parties, this time employed by or agents of the bank's customers, not entitled to see the data. More to come as participants, plans, and providers deploy more third parties to help manage the plans and the assets. Next story, after successfully acquiring the practice of some of their own advisors, LPL announced a $400 million fund to buy external practices called Liquidity and Succession, closing recently on their first acquisition. Deals have typically been 8 to 10 times EBITDA, deploying 10 to 20 million, with the firm committed to supporting the next generation of advisors. LPL added over 1,300 new advisors over the last year, which now totals over 22,000. Look for other independents to jump in, further fueling the already hot M&A market. Finally, as small to mid-sized defined contribution plan sponsors wake up, finding service providers and organizations that they can trust becomes critical. These plan sponsors are in a difficult position, most thrown into their jobs with little to no training and limited resources, still grappling to understand the roles and responsibilities of advisors versus record keepers versus TPAs and fund managers. In this initial phase of awakening, the focus is on competence and knowledge, but as they get more aware and comfortable, they will be asking, who can I trust? Read my recent wealth management column about how RPAs are at the crux of this transition. And if they can win the trust of clients, there is no limit to where these relationships could lead, fueling the convergence of wealth and retirement at work. So those were the most important and interesting stories from the past week. I listed a few others I thought were worth reading, covering acting DOL secretary takes heat at a congressional hearing about the new fiduciary rule. Alternative investments continue to struggle to get on 401k plan menus. Are CITs really cheaper than mutual funds, or is it a shell game? So it really quantifies the benefits of technology for advisors. Please let me know if I missed anything or if you'd like to comment. Otherwise, I look forward to speaking to you next week on 401k Real Talk.